Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 9 of Cups. Holy moly, this is good. This is happiness. This is the dream that keeps on dreaming. This is the happiness that keeps on happening. This is satisfaction and fulfillment on the physical, financial plane, mental, emotional, and the spiritual, creative planes. This is everything. This is the best card of the tarot pack. Let's just talk about this for half an hour, okay? What are you doing to pursue your happiness? Yeah. How are you getting happy in life? Real happiness, true happiness. Not just pleasure and avoiding pain, right? Not just the fleeting, pleasant or unpleasant emotions, that we're going to get no matter what we do. But real, true, deep soul happiness. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context, all right? I could talk about that card all day. We got a 10 of Wands. We have a 6 of Cups. Very nice. We have a Knight of Wands. We have a 3 of Cups. Wow, 6 plus 3 equals that 9. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And a 4. A 4 of Wands. So, fire, 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 water, water, water. First thing we got to say is by you putting in all your effort into something, by giving something everything that you've got, trying your hardest and getting things done, getting to the end of something, completing the circuit, brings about such joy. This is the dopamine circuit and the adrenaline circuit. Okay? The more you're able to tick things off your checklist, the better you feel, the closer you get to this feeling of really true intense happiness. This is extraordinary. This is kind of rare to see this fire, 1, 2, 3 fire, 1, 2, 3 water. Let's see what's on the path of the serpent. The Fool, of course. The Hermit, yeah, sometimes. A Knight of Cups and the Magician. Yeah, see, this is how the Magician operates. This is one thing that you're discovering. Hey, the more I do, the more I put in all my effort into something and I get something done. It doesn't matter what the 4 of Wands is. It could be tying your shoes, brushing your teeth, getting up in the morning, having a glass of water, right? It could be all cleaning your glasses, which I got to do like 5 times a day. Any of these little things. I mean, those are kind of, small. Maybe that doesn't take as much effort as a 10 of Wands, but the 10 of Wands is saying whatever you can do that takes the most effort in your life, and you actually reach some sort of a conclusion to it. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to totally succeed. We're not talking long-term goals here. We're talking short-term goals for long-term benefits. Okay? So, this isn't about, I want to be a millionaire in 10 years or whatever, right? Whatever the goal is, And it's not saying, I'm just going to put in all this effort and I'm going to keep working until I get there. And, that's something. But we're talking the day-to-day things. What's on your checklist? What's on your to-do list? What can you do right now that's going to feel good, that's going to motivate you, that's going to make you feel that hit of dopamine and get you sort of charged up, fired up to keep going forward toward that long-term goal? So we're taking the long-term goal, sure, but we're breaking it down into what we can do right now. We can get up, take a drink of water. Well, your first step, you're here, you're watching the tarot reading on my channel. So Very good, right? Which means that we're looking for answers. It means that we're trying. We want something. We want to live our life. We want to be happy ultimately, right? The Nine of Cups is pretty much universal. The details are going to be way different because, of course, these are just cups. We don't have any pentacles here. I don't care what you're doing. What I care is that you care about what you're doing. Yeah. Let's select our mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Bubo, our mechanical owl, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments, right? Let's do it. I think that's another thing that we can take off our box, right? That we can try and we can complete that circuit. And yeah, maybe we're going to fail at some things. Maybe we'll try to guess that card as, I've been wrong for months now on this card. There was a time last year where I was getting it every time, but now not so much. And that's fine. But the thing is, we're doing it every day. Every reading, we're going to see what we can do, right? And those moments where it hits, those moments where we get that satisfaction, where we complete that cycle, we're completing the cycle every day. But sometimes we're going to get those moments of just absolute joy, the pleasure, that hit of dopamine that says, wow, I got it right. That's the Three of Cups. This is that explosion of jubilant energy. I've done it. It worked. I succeeded at that particular thing in this particular day, in the small goals, right? The underlying Six of Cups is that reward system that every time we complete a cycle, we feel good, motivates us to keep going. Even when we don't get it right. Even when we try, we complete the circle, we complete the cycle, but it didn't work, right? Didn't guess the card correctly, right? Well, we need to use that as positive reinforcement to say, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. It's like I can't wait for the next tarot reading on Dove and Serpent Tarot where I get to try to guess the mystery card, right? There's a reason why I've been doing this for like 3 years now with this mystery card. And I tell you all the time, the more we practice this, the better we'll get at it. The more we try, the more we keep going through this circuit and completing the circuit, the better we're going to feel and the more motivated we're going to feel, especially when we get those occasional right answers here and there. It's gonna keep us going. Okay. But anyway, if you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's take a look around the room here. As far as the major arcana energy is, Fool, Magician. That's the tarot. That's the tarot in a nutshell. The Fool becoming the Magician. The Fool is the zero, the empty, the nobody. The Magician is the somebody. Right? So this is who you were. This is who you're going to be. Okay? This is your ideal self. This is the self that that is allowing that spiritual purpose in you to flow straight through you and out into the world. Perfectly. With no interference. With no impedance, no distortion, no packet loss, no data loss, whatever for all you tech nerds out there. It's a pure, clear channel. We're just the messenger, right? And that's why I say that in every reading. I'm merely the messenger. Something is flowing through us out into the world. We're all trying our very best to become the magician. And it's a lifelong process. We're always trying to get better and better and better at being the magician, of causing change in conformity with our will, of allowing that spiritual will to flow through us and out into the world with as little interference as possible from our human heart and mind, right? Speaking of mind, you don't have any air cards here. So there is no interference from your mind here. I feel like you know the plan. I feel like you know what you're going to do. We've got our major arcana, the Hermit as well, which is, that's one particular step on the Fool's journey to becoming that, becoming that magician. And it's binary, right? It's a 0 and a 1. This is the 0 card of the tarot. This is card number 1. Yeah, we have a lot of other major arcana, sure, which all kind of bring the Fool right back around to itself. So you're not becoming something other than what you are. You're realizing your true self. You're going through all these stages of your journey to realize that you are the magician and you always have been. But our human heart and mind interfere with that, right? So it's really a process of clearing away the blockages that are preventing us from just operating and functioning as the magician. Okay? And one step on your path is going to be this hermit energy. And it's going to be, and this is in terms of your relationships with other people. I don't know if you've been isolating lately, but I feel that you're not really connecting with a lot of people right now. Okay? Maybe there's some estrangement in your life. Maybe there's some sort of reconciliation that needs to happen. Maybe this is a voluntary sequestering of ourselves to focus on this. Right? When we make long-term plans, we kind of think, I got time. It's a long-term plan. I want to be a millionaire in 10 years. I got time, right? Or I want to have a family, or I want to move to Spain or something, or Greece perhaps for you. I got time to do it, right? I can just sit down and watch TV now. There's nothing I really have to do now. This is a long-term, this is 10 years from now. What does it matter, right? This is karma, right? Because everything that we do right now, here, today, every thought, word, and deed in the present moment is creating that future or deconstructing it. Choice is ours. Magician energy, right? Are we the architect of that future, of that goal, of that life we want? Or are we just sort of procrastinating, putting it off? Spirit's saying that you are very much into astrology. Spirit's saying that you like to play chess too, or someone taught you how to play chess. I don't know how much you play it now, but it's something that you know how to do, you're good at it when you do it, right? Maybe do more of that. Anyway, major arcana, we've got fire, 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 water, 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 a little more water. Fire and water, that's all we got, right? That's all we got. So it really is about what kind of effort we're willing to put into getting happy, right? And living the happy life. Now, the Nine of Cups, like I said, I could talk about this all day. The Nine of Cups is a lifestyle. It's a flow. It's a function. It's a verb. It's a 9. It's an odd number. It's not a noun. It's not a state of being. It's not saying, I've achieved this, therefore I am happy. No, it's saying, in my effort to achieve, in my effort to tick things off my list, I'm living a life that I want to live. I feel good about my life. I feel good about what I'm doing in life and how much effort and how much motivation I have. Even sometimes I fail. Even if sometimes I try to guess the mystery card, it doesn't work out. I'm happy that I'm doing this thing. I'm working on something that I feel has meaning and purpose to it. Okay? And that Ten of Wands is kind of like, we're getting more and more motivated. Yeah. But the 9 is not just that life. I have the life, therefore I am happy. I have the $1 million, I'm happy. I have the house, I have the family. I have the job I wanted. I am happy now. No, happiness is in the operation of it, is in the doing, the journey, right? A human doing rather than a human being. That's why it's the happiness that keeps on happening. It's not a state. It's not an end result. It's not a product. It's the process. Yeah. And we have to be willing and motivated to put in 120% effort even when we're not motivated, even when we don't feel like it. We have to find a way to do it still, right? So you got that 10, you got that 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands sometimes is a card of who's around you helping you. Do you feel as if you're alone in your life? You know, do you feel like there's nobody there supporting you? Okay. And that sort of speaks to our hermit energy. And I wonder how you're doing with your relationships. But even if there's nobody there supporting you, Spirit is supporting you. You are supporting you. Spirit, your spirit, right? Atman is Brahman. It's this, you are spirit. Even when nobody else is supporting you, So you are there. Spirit is there. Consciousness is there. The universe is there. Okay? So I think there's part of you that says, I don't need anybody. You know? So down beneath the surface, we've got the Six of Cups. It's pleasure. It is that hit of dopamine we get when we complete a cycle. And maybe we should do these cards in the cycle, I guess. Let's start back here with the Knight of Wands then. The Knight of Wands is looking into the future and sees the goal and sees how much energy we got to put into the goal. And really looking at the Ten of Wands, right? Looking at the Ten of Wands and thinking, okay, this is a long-term goal. It's going to require a lot of exertion. It's going to require a lot of input from me, a lot of hours. And sometimes looking at let's just pretend he's facing that way. Looking at the Ten of Wands, we kind of think, that's a lot. That's a big thing. Going from like zero to the entire thing. This is the $1 million at the end, right? It's kind of the long-term goal. And we look at it and we think, that is overwhelming. This is too much. This is heavy responsibility. This is like, it's all the weights on your shoulders. So what we do is we break it down into smaller chunks. What can I do right now today? Well, I can get up at a certain time. I try to wake up at 5:30 every day. Lately, my alarm's been going off at 5:30, and I've been thinking, oh, God, I want to sleep, right? I'm operating on like 2 hours of sleep now. But that's the commitment that I made, you know? And it doesn't feel good to wake up at that time of the morning, right? But we do it anyway. And the more we're able to do it, and even at the end of that, completing that circuit and thinking, I did it. I didn't want to, but I did it. Then we get that hit of dopamine. Then we get that good feeling. We get that reward, that neurotransmitter, our own nervous system, right? Rewarding us for doing something. Well, shit, I'm going to do more of that then, you know? And then that sort of becomes that dopamine, from what I understand anyway. I'm no like neuroscientist, but it becomes adrenaline. It fires us up to do more of that, right? It motivates us. So the more things we add to our checklist, right, that might feel overwhelming. But once we start checking things off, oh, that feels good. Even if it's just you got a laundry list of things to do. Laundry, dishes, wash the car, fix the car, go to work, wake up at 5 in the morning, have a glass of water, ride the exercise bike. Write these things down. Whatever your long-term goal is, write down everything that you need to do, let's say on a daily basis, a weekly basis, monthly, and, kind of do that. It's almost like bullet journaling, right? Have you done that before? I think you have. Also, there's something about a clothing store. You used to work in a clothing store, or there was some incident that happened in a clothing store that is kind of familiar for you. But like the bullet journaling, we'll write down our daily, weekly, and monthly sort of checklist. And when you're able to cross things off that list or check the boxes, it feels good and it motivates you. And even if you had to push things till tomorrow, even if I didn't get everything done, but I got some of these things done. We're going to focus on the wins here. We're going to focus on those circuits that we're able to complete, just like the mystery card. Is it going to feel better to not do it than to try and get it wrong? What's going to be more motivating to you? What's going to give you that reward? Well, I'm going to feel a reward. Well, you know what? I did it anyway. I didn't want to. Maybe I've been discouraged. I haven't got it right in so long, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm keep doing it. Every time I try, it feels good. It feels good to complete that cycle, and I get that hit of dopamine. Now, sometimes you're going to get the big win. Sometimes you're going to get through a day and be like, holy smokes, I checked off everything on my list today. Some days we're just going to feel like I was so productive today. It was so amazing. I got everything done. I woke up at 5. I rode the bicycle. I drank the water. I did the whatever, all these things. I fixed the car. I got gas in the car. I ran all the errands that we needed to run. At the end of a hard day, sometimes it just feels really, really good to get everything done in that day. And maybe you start small. Maybe you just say, wake up, drink water. Okay. Because then that day that you wake up, you drink water, you get both of those things done, you're getting a 3 of cups here. And you're also getting that reward for having accomplished those little tasks. But you're getting the sort of bigger burst of jubilation too, because it feels like it was a successful cycle. It was, we complete those circuits so often. But unless we have unless there's novelty, unless there's some sort of punctuation here and there, it's going to just become, we're going to get numb to it. It's okay. Then it just becomes routine. Then it doesn't feel good anymore. I don't get that dopamine anymore. We have to do the new and novel things. And that's why with the mystery card, I get it wrong 99% of the time. But the one time I get it right, wow. I mean, we get a supercharge of this spiritual energy and this motivation. And that's how you're going to accomplish your long-term goals. And that's how you're going to keep the motivation to do all this heavy lifting to get to your long-term goals. And this is how you become the magician. That's how you become somebody that can say, I'm going to do something. And then guess what? You do it, whether it takes you a week, a month, a year, or 10 years. You do it. Yeah. This has got to be my favorite reading of this cycle so far. I know we're only in Gemini, but this is really extraordinary. I would perhaps watch the Aries reading. The Aries reading that we did today, it seems like it's kind of showing up it showed up in the Taurus reading, it's kind of showing up here. We have the Aries card back here, and we've got the Venus in Aries here. And especially the Knight of Wands here with the Aries energy. If we're spending too much time looking at the future, we're going to feel overwhelmed. It's like you want to be, and just as an example, I want to be a millionaire in 10 years, whatever. It's kind of like, well, that's a big step. That's going from 0 to 1 million. That's a big leap, right? And so if we're looking at that goal, we're thinking, gosh, there's no way, Rome wasn't built in a day, The only way to accomplish those big goals is to think, what can I do step by step? Well, I could start a savings account. I can start putting some money away, right? I could learn something about investing or whatever, or I could start a side hustle, get some more money in. And so, okay, you want to do a side hustle, or you want to start learning the stock market. What do you got to do to get that done? See, now we're chunking the goals down. Now, okay, I want a side hustle. Well, what do I got to do? Okay, let's make a checklist. Well, I got to figure out what I'm good at. I got to figure out what the options are. Maybe you're going to start a YouTube channel or something. Yeah, and then that's a whole other little chunk, and that expands another checklist. And then you're actually getting things done. Even if it's just one thing a day toward your goal, it's like, yeah, I did that. I took a step. I made one little millimeter step today. And that feels good. That's reinforcing. That's rewarding your efforts. Until those days where you get those kind of bigger milestones, and those feel like supercharge energy. Okay. Now let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Your general energy is the Fool. Your general energy is, I think, not thinking about the present or the past or the future. Not really thinking about anything. Kind of jumping in, right? Just kind of leaping into the unknown, closing your eyes and letting go, doing it. Because if we're spending too much time worried about the future, we get anxious. The Knight of Wands staring at the 10 of Wands. We think there's no way. So the Fool just kind of says, I'm oblivious to anything, and here I go. I'm just going to dive into this. And that's sort of the beginning of the path. So I feel like you're someone who's ready to begin this new journey toward this future that you want. You're capable of it, but maybe it's, previous to now, it's felt overwhelming. Still does, honestly, but you kind of have a handle on how you're going to do it and what you need to do day to day. Everything we do in the present moment, every thought, word, and deed is creating our reality. So the Fool kind of says, start fresh. Don't worry about what you did yesterday. There's no card here that's looking at the past. There's cards here looking at the future. The knights, right? The knights are always looking at the future. The queens are looking at the past. We don't have any of them. The fool maybe is just concerned with the present, but not really, not thinking about the present, not concerned with the present, but is only conscious of the present. Because the fool has no history, has no future, is not an actual temporal being. It's just awareness. A big, fat zero of awareness. You know, it's going from nothing, zero, to a one, to everything. And from the one becomes the many. Yeah. And that's what the fool does, sort of multiplies life. You know, it creates more and more things. So from zero to a one, from the one to the many. But this is kind of saying, I'm starting now. I'm getting rid of everything that I don't need, all these, well, we got rid of all the swords, right? So the fool sort of cleared away all that internal stuff, those blockages that were preventing you from going after your happy life. We talked about that, 9 of Cups. Again, we should just talk about that all day, every day, just 9 of Cups conversation. But the fool has allowed spirit to come inside and sweep away all those swords cards. Sweep away all those false beliefs, all those limitations, all those doubts and worries and concerns, and all those sort of, all the wasted energy, right? Wrapped up in so many things that don't matter. Tangled up in drama, tangled up in thoughts and worries and interests and just distractions. Right? Cleared away all that junk, and what's left? Nothing. Zero. Absolute potential. We could fill this with anything we want, and you're doing that in a very directed way. So the fool has become the zero, so now we can fill this up with this. Gotten rid of all distractions, and that's part of our hermit energy too. The hermit is immune to distractions. The hermit is not listening to anything at all. The hermit is sitting there in the office, at the desk, at the workspace, in your studio, whatever, working. You're not listening to the ball game in your ear. You don't have the TV on in the background. You're doing it. You're focused because you've cleared away all of the distractions, all of the false beliefs, etc. And now you're not letting them back in. Okay? Because those distractions, again, what are they going to do? The human heart and mind, in this case the human mind, is going to interfere with whatever this spiritual flow is, whatever this light is. I think the mystery card is going to be the star card. Whatever this spiritual light is that's flowing through you, right? The swords, the human mind, our thinking, our intellect, is going to interfere with that, is going to distort the signal. And it's going to come out degraded on the other side through that magician. Then we'll be a rather poor magician, right? Because we have all this crud, that's sort of blocking the signal. So the hermit realizes that I've got to protect this flow. I've got to be a clear channel, so I have to resist. That's why the hermit is really a card of retirement, of sort of walking away from the world, right? Go in hermit mode. You go in your own path, own direction. You're leaving the city, going to the country, right? All that sort of lore of the hermit. It really is about focus. It's really about realizing that I have an important thing I'm doing, and I can't let any of this nonsense in that's going to interfere with that. I can't let my own mind and its distractions, its attachment to all these distracting energies out here or in here, anywhere. I can't let that interfere with that signal, that spiritual light that's within me that's trying to get out. Something is within you trying to get out into the world. I know it's not like one of those alien, like chest burster things. Although I do love those movies. Those are my favorite movies. Have you seen the new one, the Romulus one? I thought that was good. I liked it. Anyway, living the happy life is not necessarily living the easy life. Living the happy life is a life of purpose. There's abundance on every plane of being here because you're doing the right thing. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing here. And I think you are going to be very well rewarded for it. It's going to be a lot of effort. Okay? And it's going to require the hermit to sacrifice some things some distractions that we like. But, as I said at the beginning, I'm curious about your relationships. Because sometimes the hermit, along with our Ten of Wands, kind of overdoes it. This is kind of a workaholic kind of thing, where we have been down in our laboratory for so long, we forgot what the sun feels like, We've lost touch with our friends, our pets, our plants. So there is a suggestion here that you need to re-engage with your people. You need to be able to unwind sometimes. You have such a high motivation, and I think a high energetic stress level. You've got to find ways to unwind. So we kind of need a little distraction here and there. Maybe that mystery card will be the Seven of Swords, right? I would never wish for that, but maybe now we need it. Because sometimes we need a little bit of a distraction. It's the end of the night. You're trying to just, you're trying to relax, unwind. You put something dumb on the TV, put on something on YouTube, and just, you just kind of sink into it. It's fine. It's a distraction. Distractions are useful sometimes. Yeah. Now, the next card is the Knight of Cups. So you've got the Knight of Wands looking at the future, the overwhelming energy that it's going to take to get your goal. Wow, that's a huge goal. That's overwhelming. That's a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure. The Knight of Cups is looking at the future, really looking at the Ten of Cups, right? Looking at this idea of satisfaction, the good life, achieving all of this goal. It's kind of in a way where the Knight is looking at the 10 and thinking, wow, that's going to be a lot of work getting up that hill. But then the Knight of Cups is looking at the Ten of Cups and thinking, it's going to feel so good to get to the top of that hill. And so this is kind of saying that the goal, the end really justifies the means in a way. That the result of this, the end, the goal that you have is worth the suffering. It's worth the hard work. It's worth the exhaustion. And having those two, having both of these kind of together saying, hey, yeah, you know what? It's worth it. That makes the whole journey a joy. The path itself is abundant and it feels good. And there's happiness here, true happiness. It doesn't mean that every day is a good day. Because remember, it's going to be exhausting, grueling work. You're going to have to make sacrifices, right? You're going to have to manage your time. You're going to be exhausted at the end of the day. But it's a worthwhile pursuit. It is a purpose. It's a path that has heart. So even on the good days, bad days, there's happiness. Okay? Even when you guess the mystery card wrong, there's still happiness. And that's how you become the best magician that you can be. This is the Magus card, the magician, Mercury, Hermes, the trickster, the juggler, right, the prankster. This is a pure conduit. This is that clear channel of spiritual light. We're able to manifest our reality. You are the architect of your reality. Okay? And I think that this is uncovering who you've been all along. We're all born as a magician, right? It's just to kind of I feel like we're all born like so-called psychic, right? We're all born with a very strong spiritual connection. But for various reasons, things that happen before we're born and as babies and kids and adults and everything, we interfere with that. There's static. We get the swords and the cups, the human heart and mind. It starts to cloud our perception of that spiritual light or our ability to channel it and let it flow clearly through us. With no loss, right? There's an ideal magician where the light that comes in, it goes straight out with no interference, with no loss, no corruption, no distortion, right? It's just a pure, clear transmission. And that's why the Mercury is the messenger, the transmitter. Yeah. But we all have some sort of impedance. We all have some sort of blockages, some sort of distortion going on. And the answering the call here is kind of the fool here, starting the journey and saying, I'm going to try to get rid of as much of those blockages as I can to uncover my true self, that magician energy. And I don't think we ever become the perfect magician. That's what we're striving toward. Let's look at this mystery card now. Let's do it. I said it'd be the Star or the Seven of Swords. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see. Two of Swords. I was wrong. But it is swords, so I was sort of right, you know. And we got to take the wins where we can get them, you know. But the Two of Swords is trying to maintain a peace of mind, that we want to be able to sleep at night. We have to understand, and it's not right. It's not like right or wrong, you know. This is very practical thinking. What do I need to do so I can sleep good at night? What do I need to do to keep doing what I'm doing, to get my goals, to live this happy life, to build this happy life, to get the future, whatever it is? What do I need to do? Well, sometimes I'm going to need a little distraction. Sometimes I'm going to need to sleep in late. Maybe sometimes, right? Sometimes I'm going to have to put something dumb on the TV and just unwind and let it go. Sometimes I'm going to have to take a day off or a vacation. Okay? We need these little things to relieve tension. But it has to be controlled. It has to be willed. We get so immersed in distractions, it doesn't give us peace of mind. We're so distracted with everything, we're not going to be able to sleep at night. So that's really that's the litmus test. Is it helping you to sleep better at night so that you can wake up motivated and get your shit done and, you know, continue the process? Okay, and this doesn't mean self-medicating, because self-medicating, yeah, we think we're sleeping good at night, but we're not. Okay, so I'm not advocating that in any way. I've been down that road. It doesn't work. But real peace of mind, a real calm. It's almost a zen, you know. We're not getting stressed out. We're not getting worried about everything. Yeah, we're exhausted, and maybe it's mentally exhausting, whatever work you're doing. Maybe it's more of a technical, mental kind of thing. But we're not confused. We're not disoriented. We're not doubting, right? We're not criticizing ourselves. We're not second-guessing things. There's an underlying zen of it all. The Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is also about intuitively choosing in every moment what we need to do, right? In this very moment, what are you choosing to do? You know, what can we choose? What can we do right now? What choice can we make right this second? They'll help us get to our goals. Don't say turning off this tarot reading. I can hear that. I set myself up for that joke. And half of you probably did. That's okay. But what can we do right now today? What choice can we make that's going to help us get to the completion of a circuit, get that dopamine hit, and continue motivating ourselves? No one's going to do it for us. Yeah. This is a wonderful confirmation. I like this. Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're currently watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.